Tanya for the 24th of Sivan is in Perek Zayin, chapter 7 of Yishara Yichud Ve'emunah. It's on page 314, the beginning of the second paragraph. V'hinei mikan yesh lahavin shigigas miktas chachamim beineihem Hashem yechaper ba'adam. From what we said before, we can now understand the mistake, the error, that some who consider themselves scholars made the mistake, may God forgive them, in interpreting something in Kabbalah concerning the oneness of God. In light of what was said above, that the tzimtzum, the concealment, does not conceal God. It only conceals the awareness of the nivra, of the created being, that the created being does not sense and is not aware of God's presence. What was the mistake that some of these people made, which the Alter Rebbe says Hashem yechaper ba'adam, that God should forgive them for such a mistake? Sheshogu v'tou b'iyunam b'kisvei ha'arizal. They erred and they made the mistake in their study of the writings of the Arizal. V'hevinu inyan hatzimtzum hamusker sham kipshute, and they understood the subject of tzimtzum that is mentioned there in the writings of the Arizal, and they took it literally. Shehakadosh Baruch Hu silik atzmei muhusei chas v'sholem me'elam hazeh, that God removed Himself, God forbid, from this world, where it says in the Kisvei Harizal, that how is it possible for the world to exist in its finite form? It's because God removed Himself. So they take this literally, that God actually removed Himself, God forbid. Only He overlooks, He pays attention with providence, divine providence, to all the things that He created. So in some way, in various degrees or levels of edelkeit, or of literal interpretation, they take the tzimtzum to mean that somehow or in some way God is not present in the lower worlds. V'hinei milvad she'ef sheklal leimar inyan hatzimtzum kipshute shehu mimikre haguf al HaKadosh Baruch Hu hanivdul mehem riberevavis havdolis ad ein ketz. Beside the fact that we can't apply to God a physical condition, a phenomena of the body, to say that He is here and not there. So that to say literally that God removed Himself to a side, that is a phenomena that relates to a physical being, to a body, and not to God, who is removed and higher than the physical condition infinitely. Af gam zeis, but besides that, lo bedas yidaberu, what they say is not sensible. That the tzimtzum is meant literally, me'acha she'ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim, since they are believers, the children of believers. There's no doubt that they believe sheHaKadosh Baruch Hu yedeya kol hayitzurim sheba'elam hazeh hashofol, that God knows all of the creations of this lowly world, umashgiach aleihem, and pays attention to them. V'al kachach ein yediyasei esam meisifa beiribi v'chidush, and there's no doubt that God's knowledge of them is not an addition to God Himself, as we learned in yesterday's shiur. Mipnei sheyedeya hakel b'yediyas atzmei, because His knowledge is one with Himself. Harei kiviyachol muhusei v'atzmusei v'daitei hakel echad. So God and His essence and His knowledge are all one, and therefore, if you admit and believe that God knows all of creation, then He is present in all of creation, because His knowledge is not a knowledge from a distance. His knowledge is Himself. So if His knowledge is here, if His awareness is in the world, on the world, then His essence is present, and you can't separate Him from His knowledge. So to say that God knows every detail of the world but is removed from it is a contradiction in terms. What then does the tzimtzum mean? As we learned earlier, The tzimtzum is not that God isn't present. That's not a chachma. The chachma is that God is present, and not only is He present, but He is revealed. He lets Himself be known, and yet there's a tzimtzum that prevents the created being from knowing that which is present and revealed. That's the greatness, the miracle of the tzimtzum. In the Hayom Yom, for the 24th of Sivan, the Rebbe writes that Hashoyel b'mehi heskashus shaloi elai. When the one who asks, or you're asking, with what can you be attached to me? Ma'acha she'enani makirei panim, since I don't know him personally. So the answer is ha'hiskashus ha'amitis al yedei limud haTorah. The true hiskashus, the true connection between a chassid and a rebbe is through studying his Torah. Kishehu leimed ha'maimorei chassidus shali, when you will learn the maimorim of chassidus that I say, keides hasichis, you read the sichis that I say, u'mischaber im yedidi anash v'talmidei hatmimim, and you befriend and associate with those who are dear to me, the chassidim and the talmidim of the yeshiva, yichyu, belimudam uv'zva'adusam, to associate with them in their learning and in their verbringens. U'mekayim bakashosi ba'miras tehillim v'shmiras mani halimudim, and you fulfill my request regarding the saying of Tillim and observing the shiyudim, the times of study, the daily study times. Through this, you become mekusha, you become attached to them.